What's going on, guys? Cassie from Jeep Gear and Gadgets, and it's finally not worst timing. He's already working on his Jeep back there. It is finally not raining here in Virginia. The sun is out, it's nice, and it's time to catch up on Jeep projects. So in the last video, we got the axle swap started on the LJ, threw the JK Dynatrac 44 in the front, started mocking up some things, and realized we needed to order some parts. And all of my packages have finally come in, so why don't we check out what I ended up going with.
You hear it?
No, Ben, do not.
It needs to. Oh, look, it's a baby. It was a baby. It was stuck in the. It was stuck in some tubing.
Ben thinks carpenter bees are cute. The babies, the big ones. I have a different opinion. But over here on the table, now that you've seen everything, we have our custom control arms from Clayton Offroad. We've got our drag bar, our drag link, and track bar.
That's the second time you've said that. The drag bar.
Drag
what
bar.
was that? Where'd you go yesterday?
We've got our drag bar and track link tubing right here. We've got our joints and our track bar bracket from Barnes 4-wheel drive. Now the only thing we've already done between the last video and this video is we went ahead and replaced the yoke on the JK axle so that we could reuse the drive shaft. And I'm going to show you a clip of me doing that right now. So in order to keep the current drive shaft we have on here, we've got to change out the JK flange with the 13-pin yoke. But before we can do that, we have to measure how much torque it takes to rotate. I measured about 10 inch-pounds, so we're gonna keep that in mind when we put the new yoke on. But right now, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing out. I'm gonna keep tightening this up until there's no more of this in and out play. And then we're gonna grab our dial indicator and make sure that it's around 10 to 15 inch-pounds. One thing I wanna mention about the drive shaft is that if you're using the swap truss kit, you're gonna have to order a new drive shaft. And the reason why is because it is going to be too long. Right now, the drive shaft is completely collapsed, which means it has nowhere to go. But since we're stretching the Jeep, our drive shaft will be just fine to reuse. Now in my last video, I talked about why we're stretching the Jeep, but I wanna show you guys how. And that is where the Clayton Offroad custom control arms come in. And Ben's gonna tell you a little bit about that when he's done. Sophie?
Oh.
That's what you get.
Okay, so
Karma.
here we have a set of Clayton Offroad custom-made adjustable control arms. So, like in the last video, we were talking about you really can't use TJ arms, and my first thought was, hey, maybe we can use adjustable control arms. So my first thing was, hey, let's call Clayton Offroad and see what their max length on TJ control arms are. I called them up, said, hey, what's the maximum length that your TJ arms adjust to? Right here we have the stock numbers. The lowers are 16 inches and the uppers are 15 inches. So I called them in hopes that they make control arms that adjust out long enough. We need 2 inches of stretch, so 16 plus 2 is 18 inches. Man,
good math, Ben.
We're going kind of crazy. Okay, so we needed 18 inches. Clayton Offroad made a set that adjusted out to like 17 and a half. So that's where we said, okay, TJ arms aren't gonna work. But then Clayton Offroad say, hey, I don't know if you know this or not, but we also make custom length control arms.
Which is awesome.
Now this, like, most people aren't gonna need a custom length control arms unless they're doing a swap like this. And I think it's just awesome that Clayton has that option. You know, you call up Rock Crawler, Metal Cloak, Terraflex.
They're not gonna custom make you control arms.
Products, but if you say, hey, I need a set of your control arms that are 2 inches longer, they're gonna laugh at you.
They are, and it's super cool that Clayton does that because it's something that we need. It shows that they cared about their customers too, that they're gonna custom make you something that you need. And I think I see a package in the background.
I have no idea. Watch, it's gonna be like diapers or something.
Oh, I know what it is.
What is it?
Not Jeep related.
Oh, I'll let you go get it.
So when you're home from work every single day, you have more time to online shop.
What'd you get? I'll take it. I'll take over. Dun dun dun. All right, so while Cassie's looking at her packages, you know, the fact that Clayton Offroad cares about the customers and gives you the option to make, or, you know, do some custom control arm lengths, that is really, really cool. They do have to ship them bare steel. I mean, you could wait for them to powder coat it, but that would probably take a week. Longer. You know, this only took us like 3 days to get it. We have their gyro joint bushing on one end and a Johnny joint at the other. So most of you guys should be familiar with the Johnny joint. It's, you know, we still get the dampening of like a rubber bushing, but we get a lot of flexibility out of it. Over here we have their gyro joints. On the Gladiator we have gyro joints on both sides, so axle side and frame side. How would you say that rides?
Oh, they're fantastic. They absorb a lot of like the road vibrations. I really like them.
They're really good joints and they still do flex really well. So having gyro joint on this side and Johnny joint on the others can be a great combo. The other thing is that these joints have a ton of extendability on both sides.
Which is great for us because we still aren't sure exactly how much room we're gonna need. Now looking at steering, we ordered everything from Barnes 4-wheel drive. We've got our DOM tubing. Ben had a spare one in the garage. We ordered 3 Heim joints, a tie rod in, and our track bar bracket. Now everything you've seen in this video is what we're gonna be installing today, but the first thing we have to do is get our control arms in so we can center the axle. So let's get started. So we got the lower control arm in, and as you can see, the spring is pretty much back to normal. So this is where we want the axle to be. However, now it's easier to show you how the track bar is definitely gonna hit the axle, which is why we need to move the bracket over with the Barnes 4-wheel drive bracket. So normally this joint would go on the axle side. It's the Clayton Offroad gyro joint, and it does better closer to the elements, which is why it normally goes on the axle side. So the mud, the rain, the dirt, the dust, all of that stuff, it protects the joint from all of those elements. However, since we're going with the JK axle and we're not using the truss swap kit, we have to flip it. So now we're gonna have the Johnny joint on the axle side and the gyro joint on the frame side because we need more misalignment. Because normally the control arms, they go straight from the frame to the axle, but in our case, the JK axle is a little wider. So now we need more of that misalignment that the Johnny joint kind of provides for us. And Max is distracting me. Hey, bub. May not have been graceful, but we got it out. Got it.
You got 2 washes on there.
Whoopsies. Someone said that's a mom comment. Is whoopsie a mom comment? I'm not sure.
Yes.
Is it? And just like that, we've got all 4 of the Clayton control arms underneath the Jeep. However, now we have to put the wheels and tires back on because we've done everything we can under the carport. We need to weld and grind next. So we gotta put up the wheels and tires on just to move the Jeep over closer to the garage, just to take the wheels and tires off again. So let's get to it. We got the wheels and tires on. Ben's gonna move it from out from under the carport over here to in front of the garage, and we're kinda gonna get a sneak peek of what the 44 looks like underneath the LJ. Keep in mind, the front brakes aren't hooked up yet, so he's gotta take it super careful and use the e-brake to back out of here. All right, check it out. The width looks awesome on here. We might have to go with a higher lift once it's all done. I'm not sure yet, kinda why we waited, but it looks awesome. I don't think I've ever been more excited about this axle swap than literally right now. I can't stop smiling. I'm so excited to keep this project going and get it done because I want to go wheeling. So we're gonna lower the axle all the way down because next we're working on the track bar, which means we're gonna be grinding, we're gonna be cutting, and we wanna make sure we have enough room to actually work on the track bar mount and the track bar. The axle's dropped down, we've got plenty of room to work in here, springs are removed. Now it's time to start grinding off this old track bar bracket, and looking at how thick this thing is, it might take a while. Last night we got the old track bar bracket completely grinded off. I started it, but I had this guy finish it because A 7-inch grinder is really heavy. It's a really tight fit under there, and I'd like to keep all of my fingers.
Yeah, this is not a fun bracket to grind off, so.
Then the next step is going to be putting the new Barnes 4-wheel drive bracket back on here. However, first we have to raise the axle all the way up to full bump, and then we have to kind of work it around the axle housing and the new extended pitman arm that we put in. So it's finding that sweet spot of where this new the new track bar mount should be. And then over here on the axle housing, however, it's a tight fit. And what we learned is that this Barnes 4-wheel drive bracket actually is flipped around the wrong way. So originally it was flipped the other way, which means the mount is a little further to the right. And we had to custom make a track bar. However, we decided to flip it, which extended the mount. And now we can go with the old rock collar track bar, which is kind of nice. Now we don't have to custom make it.
Yeah, it already has a bend too, which is nice.
And it goes around the housing. So I think we've found the sweet spot. So the next step is just to tack weld it on and then get it completely welded up to the frame. Don't judge me for my welds. I'm kind of a newbie, but we'll see what happens.
Nice.
Okay, that's not that ugly, right?
No, except for that.
Okay, except for my starting point. We had a redo, okay? Pretend that's not there. But
Not bad, Cassie.
not bad. I think that came out pretty good.
Stacking dimes.
Yeah. Damn, I did that?
Whoop, whoop.
That felt good too.
That's what she said.
The track bar bracket is completely mounted to the frame now. We've added some gussets as well to make it a little bit stronger, and check out my beautiful weld right here. Not trying to brag or anything, but I'm pretty proud of it. We went ahead and adjusted the track bar to the right length that it's supposed to be, which means we have centered the axle, and we are now ready to go ahead and do our custom drag link. I've already centered the steering wheel, so it's perfectly centered, and we're gonna measure from where it mounts all the way up to the pitman arm and get our drag link done, and that'll complete all the things that we need to do in this video to get ready for springs, shocks, and brakes next. So we measured 39 inches, which means we're gonna put it at 39 inches from middle of this joint to middle of that joint. And next I heard did I hear the FedEx lady back again? Again? What else we got?
More bikes.
I think the same lady.
Oh, you're back.
Back again.
Whoop, whoop.
Wonder what it could be.
I don't know.
It's kind of long. It's kind of axle lengthy, right?
I'd say so. Let's go see. Huh.
About so.
Who knows what that could be?
So we left off at 39 inches, and we went ahead and threaded our bungs in about halfway on each side. That way there's plenty of adjustment in and out. And from there, we're gonna cut the tubing right where the bung goes into the tubing, and then we're gonna tack weld it on, not tack weld it, we're gonna weld it all the way on and get it set up and see if it's the right length. Cuts are done, welds are done. Now all that's left to do is install the drag link. We'll come back and retorque everything later, but as of right now, we got the control arms in, the track bar in, and the drag link in. It only took, what, day and a half?
Not too bad.
Not too bad. And it sees. Start turning the wheel, Ben. Yeah. Sweet. That about wraps it up for this video, guys. We got everything in that I wanted to. We got the Clayton Offroad control arms, we got the drag link and the track bar. Next are springs, shocks, and brakes, which I'm really excited about because that'll pretty much wrap the front end up. And it's kind of nice because when Ben did the 1-ton swap, I was kind of helpful, kind of not. And it's neat doing all of this work on my own Jeep.
Got him.
And being able to see the rewards. You get them?
Yeah, well, he's there.
You're good. I don't even know where I was, but as always, guys, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and my name's Cassie, and keep Jeep and classy.